Howdy, folks. What's going on? It's Outlaw Hatfield back at you one more time. Sorry I am so late. First, I was late getting out of Matt's chat. He had a good one over there, and I just hung around for it and lost track of time. Um, and secondly, I've had something going on with Hangouts. It's locked up on me. Gary was in here and dropped back out and came back, and then I dropped out and had to come back. It's just Google, and it's normal. I've got other links out there, but for right now, it's just me and Gary, and that is perfectly good. Let's see who's hanging around. We have Calaveras out there, Tread, Rich White. Rich, we're working on getting you a link. Psycho's out there. How you doing, Psycho? Gary, you're everywhere, like always. Midnight's out there. Midnight, would you like a link? So, and Gary, you got an echo.
No, it was going on after I muted even.
Really? Wow. Well, hey, Rich, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. Having some technical issues, but we're going to work through it. Hopefully, if I get going again, you'll know why. I'm still trying to send out some links and get some folks up in here. But
It sounds like a couple weeks ago when Clover was doing his Patreon chat. Man, mine went. It was having a stroke. And everything Google all of a sudden just went absolutely apeshit crazy on me.
yeah, well, that happens to me more often than not, believe it or not. So. So what's going on with you two? Anything new?
Yeah, not really. Not since yesterday, anyway.
What happened yesterday?
We were on Midnight's chat.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, nothing.
I was there, but
last time we talked.
I was there, but trust me, I missed it. I was beat when I got in last night, man.
Yeah, I didn't.
There was something. There was a new development today in the Kavanaugh thing, but I don't know if you want to talk about that or not.
Well, sure, we can shoot on that for a little while. What's going on?
The prosecutor that questioned both of them put out a prosecutorial report that she wasn't supposed. They didn't ask her to put up, but she put it out anyway and gave it to the committee, stating that she completely and totally found Ford completely and totally uncredible, and and she specifically states in the report, no self-respecting prosecutor would go to trial with this case.
Wow. The job interview, Calaveras, the job interview went well, I think. I called Palmetto back up today and talked to them a little bit. They're still going through the interview process. You know, I guess like every other company, they probably have a quota of people they have to interview to, you know, say that they did. But they said they'd give me a call and let me know something. So, you know, it's one of those things. I'm just going to have to sit back and wait and see what happens. Just keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best. I hope I get this job. I am wanting this job so desperately bad. You know, for a gun guy like me, this is literally a dream job. You know, dealing with things that I absolutely love. I love guns. I've been around guns all my life, so you know, this is just one of those things that, you know, I want this job so bad it makes my mouth water, honestly. So,
I mean, working for PSA, I mean, that would be right up your alley.
yes, it would. I'd love it. I would not have, and you know, they asked me the general, you know, interview questions, and then they threw a few and asked me what kind of guns I owned, and I went over that and asked me what groups I belong to. That was on the application, actually, so I put gun channels down there, of course. Then USCCA and the other groups that I'm involved with. So, it's just one of those things. So it's a sit and wait. So, and hope for the best.
Yeah, like Tom Petty saying, the waiting is the hardest part.
Oh yeah, exactly. And when it's a job that's this important, and to me, this is a very important job. Um, and to be honest with you, if I would have walked in there and told me I was going to make $1 less an hour if I worked there, I'd have took it anyway. Because this is just something I've wanted for so long, and now the opportunity is right there, and I'm knocking on the door.
Are they going to be paying you hourly or hourly and commission, or how's that work?
No, they don't do commission at all. It's just hourly pay, and not bad pay. I'll say that it's not bad pay. So, and in the long run, they offer benefits. They offer health, dental, vision.
Yeah.
So, that alone tells me that it's a job worth having.
Yeah.
Where I'm working now offers absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Not many jobs do these days, sadly.
Well, it's like I said, it's just one of those things that I'm going to have to just sit back and wait and see what happens and hope for the best. But I will say this: if they do not hire me, I've already made up my mind. I'm going to keep my eyes open, and the next time they're hiring, I'm going to apply again. And I'm going to keep applying until they do hire me.
That's the way to do it. I know when I applied to be in the IT department where I'm at now, I think I interviewed 4 different times before I finally got a job.
Yeah, and another thing you can do is look around, see if any like pawn shops or gun shops in your area are hiring. Because if you can get on with one of them and then you go apply for PSA again, that'll look good on you because that'll show that you actually now have some experience in gun sales as well.
Well, they asked me if I had any experience in retail, and I was like, yeah, of course. Worked Target, Kmart, a couple of little places here and there. So yeah, I've got the experience. And as far as I know, I left on good terms with both those companies. So if they go back and talk to them, but like I said, it's just a sit and wait kind of deal. It was the Ridgeland store in South Carolina. I don't know where you're at, Tread, but that's where it was at. And they have several throughout the state. So,
A&A's out there saying he got scope eye.
Do what now? I missed that one.
Yeah, he just said it. He got apparently when they were doing their big shoot today, he got whacked with the scope on his 30-06.
That ain't good, brother. You ain't supposed to put your eye right on top of the scope.
I did it when I was first learning how to use my stepfather's 30-30.
When I first started shooting, I mean, as a kid, and believe me, I started young, real young. But I never touched a rifle with a scope on it until I was in probably my mid-20s.
I was 10 or 11.
I mean,
started shooting my stepfather's 30-30.
It was.
He had the J.C. Higgins version of the Marlin 336. Can't remember what the J.C. Higgins model number on it was, but it was a Marlin 336. I mean, Marlin made them for Sears. So, yeah. And yeah, I was 10 or 11, got a little too close, whack, right above my eye. Luckily, I didn't end up with a black eye or a cut, but man, that smarted. I learned my lesson real quick.
When I was young and I was shooting all the time. Believe me, when I was younger, I shoot a whole lot more than I do right now. But it was normally what we had was old borderized military rifles. You know, Brit 303s and stuff like that. And, you know, old 22s. You know, nothing super powerful, nothing super big. But it wasn't no scopes. I remember the first time I actually looked through a scope, and I was like, wow, so this is what I've been missing all these years. And I fired that first shot, and I was hooked after that. Yep, now I see what they're all talking about.
Yeah. About the same time I started firing that 30-30, I also shot my stepfather's single shot 12 gauge with 20-some inch barrel, full choke, and put a round of double up buck through that thing, and I literally fell down.
Yep. The first gun I ever shot, and I remember it like it was yesterday, because I think it was like a 20 gauge, and I was like 4. And my dad held up the front of the gun because it was a long barrel. I remember that. It was a damn long barrel, single shot, you know. He held up the barrel, and I put myself up against it the best I could, pulled the trigger, and ended my ass up on the ground, too.
Yeah, those old break action single shots, man, they hurt. But especially if you were little, you know, like 10, 11 years old. I remember the first time I fired a turkey load out of that goddamn thing. I had a bruise on my shoulder the size of a grapefruit.
Yeah, you never forget the first gun you shoot. For some, I've talked to a lot of people over the years, and when that question comes up, do you remember the first one? Yep. They always remember that first gun. It just never goes away. I guess it's like your first bicycle or, you know, your first girlfriend. You just never forget.
Yep. It was my dad's gun, and I have it now.
The first revolver I ever shot, which was the first handgun, was a Ruger 22. I don't remember if it was a single 6 or a Bearcat, or if those were even around back then. But it was a Ruger, if I remember correctly, but it was a 22. And then the first real revolver I shot was a Smith & Wesson 27, 357, but was using 38.
The first pistol I ever shot was my mom's 22 high standard. And man, I could not tell you how many thousands of rounds we put through that poor gun. And it just kept running and kept running and kept running. And at that time, cleaning it was just a afterthought. I doubt we ever cleaned that thing. Mom might have, I don't know, but we never did. And it was very accurate little 22. I mean, I was, if I could get that same gun back today, I'd pay whatever price they wanted me to pay to get it back. Because it was,
the first 22 rifle I fired was my grandfather's lever action Winchester. I believe it was a Winchester.
Oh, Lord. I was probably, 21, 22, the first time I ever saw a semi-automatic rifle, period. So I got a late start with the semi-autos, man.
Oh, you don't want to know what I was firing. In my teens, I was firing a full auto Galil that my grandfather had.
Yeah, well, I'm jealous.
And in high school at junior RT summer camp, M16A1.
Oh, no, that's sweet. But yeah, I got a late start when it came to semi-automatic rifles. I shot that little 22 of Mom's, as a teenager. But as far as semi-automatic rifles, I didn't touch one until I was in my 20s. Yeah. Putting a scope on one, like I said, that was mid-20s. So, maybe even 26, 27.
Yeah, I have a story to go with that M16A1. When
Oh,
we
let's
got
hear it.
when we went to junior RT summer camp, we were only allowed to fire them in semi-auto, right? But to prove a point, the sergeant that was in charge of the firing line wanted to know who the best shot in the our junior RTC group was. Everybody pointed at me because I was in charge of the marksmanship team and whatnot. So everybody pointed at me. So he's like, "Okay, get up here. We're gonna do a little demonstration of why we're not having you fire on full auto." Right? He didn't think I would know how to handle a full auto. So I get up here on the line. He's like, "Here's the switch. You know, blah blah blah. How to flip it from fire to safe to the other." So he's like, "Here, put it on full auto." And I was like, "Yes, I did." And I get up there. He's like, "Now pull the trigger." He expected me to just go full auto and just be spraying rounds everywhere, right? Nice, short, controlled bursts. He's like, "Where did you learn to fire full auto?" Everybody was like laughing because they knew, right? He's like, my grandfather has a full auto Galil in 223. Like, why didn't anybody tell me this? He was all pissed off because I just like totally destroyed his demonstration, you know?
I have never fired a fully automatic weapon,
Nope, me either.
but I will eventually.
I'd like to.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of Galils, have you seen the new ones?
The Ace.
Oh, my God, how I would love to own one of those bitches.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the two rifles that I'm dying to have. The other one, of course, being the CZ Bren. And then there's the pistol, which is the Chris Vector.
Yeah. Well, we all know you went the Vector.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's common knowledge by this point.
Oh, yeah. People still make fun of me over it, but you know what? One of these days, I will own that damn Chris.
People like what they like. I mean,
yeah.
And then it'll be on to the next thing you can't do without.
Well, exactly. There's always
That's
one
the way us
popping up.
gun guys are.
Yeah, there's always one that pops up out of the blue. Ooh, I want that.
yeah, I got one of my dream guns.
And which one was that?
The one I was showing last night.
Oh, yeah, well.
I've wanted one of them since I first saw that it was coming out in Guns and Ammo. Back in like 93, 94.
Zorro should already have his. He's been waiting on that sucker forever.
And not only did I go and get the gun I wanted, I actually got the year I wanted too. This is a 94. This is first year production.
Can't beat that, man. I like to see good people get the guns that they want. You know, everybody's got that little short list of firearms that they would love to own, and at this point, everybody knows what mine is. But you know, what is yours other than the one you showed last night?
What, my dream gun to get now?
Yeah. What else is on that dream gun list of yours?
God. Russia order Winchester, which I'll probably never see in my lifetime.
Probably not.
Because the Soviets went and destroyed a shit ton of them. Because they were American. And I would just love to have one of those Winchesters in a 7.62 by 54R. With the detachable box mags and everything. And took Mosin clips on top of it.
Yep. Well, can you beat that? I'll tell you who would get extremely jealous about that, by the way, and that's Matt. I would say that he would be trying to get it off of you if you got it.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen. If I got one of those, it would not be getting sold.
I don't know. I mean, my taste is rather expensive, so.
Another one Another one that I probably wouldn't get, but I could get a recreation of. Remington 1858 New Model Army.
Well, you can get a reproduction fairly cheap.
Yeah,
Get an original.
So get a reproduction, but then
yeah.
Or the 1875 for that matter too. You know, there's a couple of companies that make the reproduction of the 1875 and 357 Magnum.
Just giving you guys a warning. Hold on a minute. Gay Polish patriot. What's going on there? There's a troll out there. YouTube. Bring me. Gay Polish patriot. Well, we will damn sure keep an eye out for him around here. So if you guys happen to run across a gay Polish patriot's name out there on YouTube, keep an eye on him. Apparently causing problems. Speaking of problems, we're going to discuss problems right now. We're going to discuss some issues. Last week, I was in here. I was having a good chat. We was having fun. You know, and it came to my attention that there was some shit going on out there. You know, I don't mind friendly little bickering back and forth in the chat. Hey, we all do it. You know, we all go back and forth a little bit. Me and Gary go back and forth. Me and Midnight go back and forth. It's fine. That don't bother me at all. I'll tell you what I'm getting pissed off about, though. I'm getting really pissed off about these direct attacks on people in these chats. So this is what's going to happen. From now on, if you've got a problem with somebody in one of my chats and you want to talk to them about it, take it up with them elsewhere. I have made it perfectly clear to all of my mods that if the shit starts, people are going to get banned. Period. I don't care who you are. So if you can't come in here and you can't be civil, then you can get the fuck out. I hate being an asshole. I hate being a dickhead. But I'm really good at it when I need to be. And
your channels, your rules.
Yep, exactly. So there will be no more of the personal attack bullshit on this channel. And I don't care who it's coming from. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. If you can't be a part of the chat without being an ass, you don't need to be here. It's that simple. I went back and I read through the shit, and I couldn't find exactly where it started, but I did start noticing certain names pop up that I had not recognized before. So if you're out there and you're listening and you know what the fuck I'm talking about, you can stop it now. It ain't going no further than last week. That's it. I mean, I've told them all. You get one warning. After that warning, you keep the shit up, I ain't playing games. And neither are my mods. So, hey, Fine Ape. Somebody send Fine Ape a link.
Know that?
I know he's at work, or said he's going to be at work, so.
That's an email I don't have.
I don't think I have his email either.
But damn it, Fine Ape, hold on a minute. I'm going to try this. I'm not sure it's going to work. Because every time I go to send an email through here, it locks everything up. See, where's Midnight when we need him? He could be our guinea pig.
And now Boob Sweat's out there asking about the interview. I guess he missed it.
The interview went well. Everything went great. I am waiting to hear back from them. I called them today. They said they're still going through the interview process, and they will let me know what happens. They'll get back to me. I'm of course nervous about it because I really want that job. It's something that I've wanted for many, many years now. And hey, to work for a company like Palmetto would be, just the pinnacle for me. It gets me doing what I have always wanted to do, is work around guns. So, say a prayer, guys. Keep your fingers crossed. Maybe I will end up with that job. So, fine, Nate, I have sent you a link over to the gun channel side because I don't have your email either for some damn reason.
Nah, he said he can't join in. He's at work.
Yeah, that's fine. It's there if you get a chance. But yeah, we're seriously working on it, trying to get me that job. And like I said, wish me the best and say a prayer, folks. Hopefully in a week or so, I'll be able to come back on here and say, hey, guys, Palmetto has hired me, and I am now selling freedom and freedom seeds.
Everybody out there asking if he had a pic of it. Look on Crazy Scotsman's Instagram.
Oh, God, you don't want to see that shit.
Crazy Scotsman has a picture on his Instagram of Ellis in his new outfit.
Yeah, he definitely has the picture. I've been over there.
And Gun Snob has it too. Gun Snob shared it on his. So either looking for the Gun Snob's Instagram account or the Crazy Scotsman, and you'll be able to find a picture of what Ellis looks like in his new outfit, and if he shaved his beard or not.
That was a one-time deal, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, that was a one-time deal. I don't wear suits. I
half expected you to go out and buy a Ric Flair robe.
Well, no, I was tempted. I was sorely tempted. And speaking of Ric Flair, yesterday at work, I get this message from Sarge, right? And he's holding the NWA WCW world title over his shoulder, and he's pointing his finger at the camera, and it's like, wow, okay. And the caption said, "Woo! I'm after you, Outlaw." So I told him, I sent him back a message and told him that's fine, but he better bring Tully and Arn with him because he's going to need help. So still ain't got a response. I think I've scared him off. And I'm sure he's listening to this, shaking his head and laughing his ass off. By the way, did you guys happen to see the VR I made to Sarge?
Can't say I did.
I think I did.
I thought that was great. I had to come up with something, and that was the best thing I could come up with. And I did that shit on a fly, believe it or not. I was sitting out back at work trying to figure out how to get into his contest in a interesting way, and I figured that'd be the best way to do it. I got more comments about Bigfoot than anything else after that, though. Funny how that happens.
No, you're not Bigfoot. Yankees.
No. Well, no. Well, I had made the point that I'm in South Carolina, and after dark, Bigfoot comes out around here. You got to be careful because they're all over the place. So.
And he says his nose hurts. I wonder why.
Oh, Lord. I'm surprised you didn't get a few stitches out of that deal.
Yeah, but I've come to the conclusion I'm going to stop trying to make the case that Yankee is the Mothman because nobody wants to believe me.
There's no way. There's no way Yankee could be the Mothman. He was born in the wrong place in West Virginia.
No, he's from Point Pleasant, which is where the Mothman's from.
Well, is he from Point Pleasant?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yankee left. Point Pleasant is when the Mothman sighting stopped.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe Yankee is the Mothman. That's an interesting thought right there. Huh. Anyway, I'm gonna do this. I have to turn my cam on since it's been requested, and I'm I don't know how well you folks are going to be able to see this, but let's see here. But that was me in the outfit I went to do the interview in. That's just not me. I am not a suit and tie wearer. Never have been.
Well, you looked like you were dressed up, but you weren't overly dressed up. You looked comfortable enough.
Well, you know, I debated on a tie, and finally, I just couldn't do it. I just could not do it. And somebody asked me, "Well, can't you tie a tie?" Yes, I know how to tie a tie. It's just that I cannot think of a single thing that is more uncomfortable than having a damn tie wrapped around your neck.
I haven't worn a tie in almost 20 years.
This is the reason I could never be in politics. I would never wear one of those damn things. I'd be the only president in history that never wore a damn suit and tie. Me running around in jeans and a cowboy hat. Which is probably why I will never be president, huh? I will not conform. But that was it for anybody that was wanting to know.
Well, I don't know how well it would work for you to run for president. You'd have a bunch of goats coming out saying you molested them.
Yeah, it'd all be lies, though.
I didn't say it would be true. I just said it would happen.
Oh, well, it might happen, but it would all be lies. The upside of that'd be the only president from West Virginia. So.
Well, since West Virginia's been a state anyway.
Well, which, you know, all actuality, it hasn't been all that long. So, but I don't know. I think you better leave the politics to somebody else, because especially a high office as high as President of the United States, because I'd end up getting us in a war quickly. And I would not apologize.
I've actually thought about politics before. Like, do I want to do that or not?
Dude, I would.
I've had people tell me I should. Like, really?
I would piss people off left, right, and center. I mean, I'd have half the world piss off at me in the first month. Because the first thing I'd do is tell the UN to go fuck themselves.
Oh, I do that already.
Yeah. Well, you need us. We don't need you. And then that's the God's honest truth. The United States does not and has never needed the UN. You know, and that's 90% of where our gun control problems are coming from right now. The UN. And the people that support the UN. You know. So everybody else is unarmed and they want America unarmed. Why are they fighting so hard? And outside countries, why would they be fighting so hard to disarm the American citizen? I don't hear anybody else asking that question, but I think it's a relevant question to ask. What would you say the answer to that question was, Gary?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Why do you think countries outside of the U.S. are fighting so hard to disarm the American people?
Jealousy?
Well, that could be part of it.
They feel intimidated.
Well, that's a good thing. I want other countries to be intimidated by us. What about you, Rich? What are your thoughts?
It goes back to the quote that people attribute to Yamamoto, which he actually didn't say, that actually came from a movie. He didn't ever actually say it. Was about the rifle behind every blade of grass.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing. The only thing that's kept us from being invaded by any other country in the world,
Except England.
And well, they got their asses handed to them for it, was the fact that we have guns here, and we don't need our military to defend our country because
technically the Japanese did invade U.S. soil because they were in Alaska.
Alaska, yeah, but
they got their asses kicked too eventually.
Yeah. Well, by the time we sent forces up there to do anything about it, they were already gone. So.
No, I mean the Japanese in general.
Oh well. But I don't think any land force, especially in the 1940s, was stood a chance. Trying to put forces on U.S. soil. That would have been suicide.
Yeah, not mainland. Definitely not mainland. And
no.
where they put forces anyway was the Aleutians, and nobody really lived there anyway.
Yep, exactly. So, even now, attacking the American mainland with, forces, hitting us with bombs or some shit's one thing. Hitting us with missiles is one thing. Putting boots on the ground in this country, dude, we have got the largest standing army on the planet.
No, we don't.
Oh yeah, we do.
No, we don't.
I'm not talking about military. I'm talking about all the armed civilians.
No, we don't. There's millions upon millions of people in the Chinese military.
Yeah,
they got more people than we do. They got more people in their militias and reserve units to their military than we have populace in this country.
Well, you think so?
Oh no, I know so. It's mandatory service over there, and there's millions upon millions upon millions of people that are in their reserve units alone.
Still, I don't think they'd stand much of a chance coming here. It might get interesting for a little while, but the American people is not going to sit back and let this country get overran. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
And he sounds like an alien.
Hold on, I gotta jack on a second. I'm gonna dump out.
I love that voice. It
sounds like a Cylon from the original Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, he does. Wow.
Wow.
Sound like a freaking sound wave off Transformers.
There we go.
Yeah,
that sounds more like it.
Now you sound like
I'm here for the telethon.
What telethon?
The telethon.
Okay.
Who are we raising money for?
Obnoxious One.
Oh,
what? You raising money for Obnoxious One so he can buy himself a tactical sniper?
No. We're buying him that 74 yard long barrel for that Henry, so he can make those 75-yard shots.
Oh.
I think the barrel is too short. I think that's the problem.
Well, if you can't make a 75-yard shot with a Henry, there's a problem somewhere.
No,
Well, I'm not saying I'm not saying I can make a better shot. I'm just saying I think I know what the problem is, and I think a 20-inch barrel is not enough. I think if he's going to try them 75-yard shots, he needs a 74-yard long barrel.
now, I got to respond real quick, guys, to Calaveras out there. I didn't say the Chinese would win. I just said that if you add up all their reserves and whatnot, they have a bigger standing army than we would. That's all I was saying. I didn't say they would win.
I'm pretty sure they would have a shorter standing army because they're little people.
Yeah, but they have more.
They
could stand on each other's shoulders, and then height-wise, everything will be equal.
It'd be like
a whole shitload of Gary ghosts and clovers over there, just looking to bite your ankle.
So what you're saying is the Chinese army would be a bunch of chihuahuas.
Yeah.
Now wait just a darn minute.
Hey, wait a minute now, guys. You overstepped your bounds. Gary is not a chihuahua. He's a cock.
I didn't say Gary was a chihuahua. I said the Chinese are chihuahuas.
Oh, well. Everybody knows Gary's a chicken. Wait a minute. That didn't come out right.
No, you just made Gary sound like a coward.
Yeah. Sorry, Gary. He's a strutting rooster. He's a strutting rooster. How about that?
You're wearing this guys, but you're not a man. You're a chicken boo.
He's a strutting rooster. Got all
Nobody remembers Animaniacs.
Oh yeah,
I remember the Animaniacs. I'm old, remember?
Totally.
You're only a year older than I am.
Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, bro.
Dot, yes.
Yes,
and
brothers and their sister Dot.
Yep.
We are the
Animaniacs. Yes.
We are zany to the max.
Yeah, that's it.
And for some reason, they like having bologna in their slacks.
Yeah. And Bill Clinton plays the sax.
Yeah, they lived up in the water tower.
Yep. That was if they had that water tower, they wouldn't have to throw me in. I would just stay there all the time.
Oh yeah. I don't want to come out in public if I don't have to. And
Right.
generally,
they had a roller coaster, and who knows what else did they have in there?
And generally, the public doesn't want me to come out in public either, so it works out good for everybody.
Yeah, well, Mia wants to keep you all to herself. Thank God.
She's plotting my demise as we speak, I'm sure.
Oh. So what you're saying is you and me is like Pinky and the Brain?
Yeah, I'm the dumb
What are you doing tonight, Wayne?
The same thing we did last night.
Try
to take over the world. Yes.
Zoink!
Boink, boink, not.
What was the name of the squirrel? That's the one I keep forgetting.
Slappy.
Yeah, Slappy.
Slappy the squirrel.
Yeah, that was a good show, and I wish they'd bring it back because I would watch that shit.
It's on or it was on Netflix, and Hulu had it too. Hulu has Tiny Toons on there too. We were watching that the other night.
Well, if you remember correctly, the Tiny Toons would come out with a different, show every few years. It'd
Tiny
be
Toons, Bugs Bunny and all that.
Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, Foghorn Leghorn.
They were teaching at a school.
Yep. I would watch that shit as soon as I got off the school bus, man.
Yep.
When I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
And here's the one. Here's the one that I remember that most people do not. I remember on TBS when I would get off the school bus and come home, there was this show that was about a half hour long called Spectre Man. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that one. I only watched TBS on the weekend because they had the wrestling in the morning.
Yep.
And they would show like a movie or something, and maybe a Braves baseball game during the summer. Then you would have their afternoon cartoon block. Then you had Georgia Championship Wrestling or WWE for a brief period, and then it was World Championship Wrestling.
Yep.
I'll tell you what was the best sign ever when you were a kid. You turned the TV on and you saw the Cartoon Express pull up.
Yes. God.
You knew you were getting some good shit then.
Do you remember the Laugh Olympics?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was my shit, man. I watched that every day. And you had all of them in there. You had Speed Buggy and Captain Caveman and
Captain Caveman was great, yeah.
Yeah. I love Captain Caveman.
I was talking about the Herculoids the other day, and nobody knew what the hell I was talking about.
I remember that. I love the Herculoids. I thought they were great.
Yeah.
And they used to run that in a block too, because it was Space Ghost, the Herculoids.
Right. Yep.
Shit, I'm trying to remember the other one. The ones that come out of the three with the monkey that came out of the black hole.
Fine Ape?
No, not that monkey.
Oh.
I don't think this was a shit slinging monkey like Fine Ape.
Yeah. Shit talking, shit slinging, whatever, same thing.
Yeah.
Well, all monkeys do that.
But there was Space Ghost, the Herculoids, and there was two others, and I can't remember the other two shows. And then there was Thundor the Barbarian.
Yeah. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and the Incredible Hulk Hour.
Yep. Spider-Man, and most people don't remember who Spider-Man's amazing friends were. Iceman and Firestar.
Firestar, yeah.
Yep.
And they lived with Aunt May.
Yes, they all did. And
well, that's weird.
Yeah, well, Peter Parker somehow ended up with enough money living in his Aunt May's apartment to turn his bedroom into a super hero hideaway.
Bedroom, it was the whole house.
Yeah, they had fucking computers.
The table would flip over and be like something out of the Hall of Justice or something.
Yep. And he did all this on a photographer's salary. Amazing, right?
Yep.
Well, he was probably stealing shit at Spider-Man too. I mean, you think about it. You know, if you left your window open or something, he could just shoot a web in there and like steal your VCR or something. So I bet you he was. He was fencing equipment, electric.
Have you ever watched Ultimate Spider-Man on Disney XD?
No.
I've caught a couple of episodes of that.
Well, if you remember, if you saw the episodes, S.H.I.E.L.D. did up Aunt May's house in that series. Maybe S.H.I.E.L.D. did Aunt May's house in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Oh, that's a theory. That is definitely a theory.
Hey, Outlaw.
Yeah, buddy.
We have a plug request over there in the side chat.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, wow. Angelina has wanted us to put this out there. In fact, Angelina, if you'd like a link, I'll send you one. But she's giving away Pop Rocks with her next 100 orders from Alan Anchor. Pop Rocks. When's the last time you had Pop Rocks?
They could be.
My kids get them every Halloween, or they did when they were trick or treating.
I thought they made those things illegal years ago.
No,
they still have them.
You can get them at Walmart around here.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Right there at the cash register with the rest of the candies.
Why do I remember Pop Rocks being made illegal because people was choking on them?
Probably because of that urban legend that said they make your stomach explode if you drank them with soda.
I don't know. Weird.
Trent brings up a good point. Spider-Man was the first person to sell his selfies for money.
That's true.
He was ahead of his time.
Oh, indeed. He was also a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that?
Yeah. You watched the Tobey Maguire movie. He wrestled Randy Savage.
And beat the shit out of him.
Yep.
Now, I would love to see Tobey Maguire tried that in real life. That would have been
Savage would have mopped the floor with him.
that would have been freaking awesome. Randy would have killed
I
him.
think the best Randy Savage thing with the wrestling thing with fictional character though was probably the episode of Dexter's Laboratory where he was wrestling Monkey. Monkey was, if you haven't never watched Dexter's Laboratory, was one of Dexter's lab experiments. Dexter was just a little kitty, like 10 years old, but a super genius. And his monkey ended up working for a secret government agency as a superhero because he had super strength and could fly and whatnot. In one episode, Randy Savage plays this intergalactic super villain who goes around challenging the best superheroes from wherever planet he's at to a wrestling match, and if he beats them, he destroys their planet. So Monkey challenges him, and because Monkey wouldn't give up, he spares the Earth.
You know, I'm surprised Randy Savage didn't do more acting.
I'm not.
He wasn't bad.
I don't know.
I mean, he wasn't like Roddy Piper or The Rock good, but he wasn't bad.
Yeah, and in the episode of Coach, what was it? Dial M for Monkey, I think, was Monkey's spin-off show on Dexter's Laboratory. Savage's name on that was Wrestler. Real original name, right?
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a He-Man character. Like everything was like Skeletor, Stinkor.
Except unless your name was Beastman.
Yeah, they were all pretty generic names. They were like really weirdly obvious names.
Yeah, the guy with all the faces, many faces.
Yeah.
The sorceress was what? A sorceress?
Yeah. And then there was Tila and Evil Lynn.
Yeah, the only ones with the actual names.
Yep. Yeah. Well, no, they weren't the only one with actual names. What was the bird dude?
Gary.
No.
Birdman.
Yeah, that's me, man.
Sortos or some shit.
He had Avenger and worked for what the hell was the guy with the eye patch's name?
I don't know. Then there was Man at Arms.
No, I'm talking about Birdman. I was making it.
The rapper? No, different guy.
And then later on, they came out with one called Moss Man, which was Beast Man covered in moss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
The skunk guy, Stinkor, was like, he was like scratch and sniff.
That guy stunk too, man.
He smelled stinky, yeah.
The truth in advertising back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the one guy? Mechaneck, his neck stretched.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy. He had star, his head was like star shaped, or his sun. He had
his head was like star shaped with like 80s
star sunglasses.
Mechaneck.
Weird. Yeah, he had those new age type sunglasses.
Wasn't his name Mechaneck?
Yeah, I already said that.
What was the dude? Who was the dude that like you would push down and he had spring? He would spring. And he had
Ram
like battery.
Oh, God.
He was
that
like
was Ram Man.
Ram Man.
I was gonna say like a battering ram. Yeah, he was pretty cool.
Yeah, but that spring that they used to make that toy was weak as shit. It only worked about 50 times, then it didn't work anymore.
That was like those Transformers that were the ones where you would pull them in half, and they were pullback cars. And you would let them go, and then they were supposed to spring up and land on their feet, and they never did.
Wow.
They did some crazy flips and stuff, but they never landed on their feet like they were supposed to.
You know, speaking of 80s toys, do you remember those Team USA motorcycle things?
Those where you would like crank it up and then push a button and you take off. Yeah, those originally were an Evel Knievel toy in the 70s.
And I was like, well, see, I don't remember back quite that far. I remember from the 80s.
Yeah, I had one of the old 70s one when I was a kid.
Man, I had a ball with those things. I'd set up a bunch of GI Joe cars and jump over them. And amazingly, most of the time, the damn thing actually landed right side up.
Yeah, those things were pretty well balanced. That was one of the things. The Evil Knievel one, like what I had, actually came with a ramp and stuff for you to jump it. And yeah, they would land on their wheels and keep going if you cranked it up enough.
Never
I just
into
like
Evil
to know.
Knievel.
You don't remember Evil Knievel?
No, I remember him. I said I wasn't into him though.
Oh,
Oh, come on. There is an Evil Knievel museum in Topeka, Kansas, just 30 miles from me.
And how many
Well,
times
me
have you
too.
been there?
I've been in the building before, not since it was the Evil Knievel Museum, but it's a cool building. It's got a Harley Davidson dealership on the ground level, and then the basement is the Evil Knievel Museum.
Yeah. Another thing I had Chip's helicopter, the big like the original GI Joe size, not the little 3.5 inch, but the big actual like Barbie doll type
Yeah.
dolls, Punch and John, and full size motorcycles for them.
Yep. Oh, shoot. I had, and you just reminded me of this because my sister stole the poster. She was about, I don't know, 8, 9 years older than I was. So, do you remember the show Starsky and Hutch?
Oh yeah.
Well, back then they had a Starsky and Hutch playset, and it had the guns and the radio and the handcuffs, and they all came with a poster of Starsky and Hutch. Well, my sister had a crush on one of them. I can't remember which one, so she stole the damn poster. But man, I wrecked that set. I mean, we went out and played cops and robbers or cowboys and Indians. You know, that was the guns that I used to play. It was wild. Yeah, you know, you don't see that anymore. You can't go to a toy store and find a toy gun anymore like that.
Nope.
Yeah, it's all like Nerf and stuff like that. They're all real bright colors and
Yeah, I had a cap gun. It was one of the ones that you put the ring caps in,
Yeah.
and you would eject them like you would. It looked like a 1873 single action army, right? But instead of having the bailing gate, because obviously you weren't going to load ring caps through a bailing gate, the cylinder came out the side like would on the old Smith and Wesson and whatnot. And the extracting rod on that would push out the ring caps, and you would put new ones on, like if you were loading, say, like a moon clip, and then you would flip your cylinder back in. But it actually looked like a little 22 revolver.
Wow. Now there was one company, and I cannot remember the name of the company to save my life, but they made toy guns that absolutely looked identical to the real thing. And
that's why Intertex were taken off the market.
And
those squirt guns, the battery powered squirt guns.
These things wasn't bad. They were cap guns.
Yeah, but you remember Intertech too, right? The battery powered squirt guns.
Yeah,
they got taken off the market because they look like real ones. Well, they were made out of metal and everything.
Yeah, the only way you can tell the difference is that little red plug. And back then, it wasn't the whole barrel that was plugged.
No, you just had a little plug, and sometimes they weren't even red. Sometimes they would be black.
Yeah.
And that was to capture any vapor or anything that would come flying out of the barrel from the cap.
But those things looked absolutely real. More than once, I got accused of carrying a real gun around. It's a toy.
Yeah, that little revolver that I was talking about, it looked like a real gun. You said it looked like you might have had like a Ruger Bearcat or something, like a little 22 like that one.
Yep. I cannot remember the name of the company that made those things.
There are lots of companies that made all kinds of different cap guns when we were kids.
Oh yeah, man. Everybody was making it.
If you look online, you can still find companies that still make old style cap guns.
Oh, I went to this costume store the other day. We walked in there just to look around, and they had little cat guns in there, like the old school kind of cat guns.
The ones with the where the side flips up and you put your roll caps in. Yeah, I bought a bunch of them a few years ago because I was going for Halloween as the Lone Ranger.
And how'd that work out for you?
Yeah, I got ones that looked like they were toys, but they looked, they were just, silver color and everything, so it worked out pretty well.
I was reading up on the Lone Ranger.
The best part was the party we were going to was at the high school, and I was the chaperones, and nobody said a word to me about having cap guns.
Of course not. You're an adult, then. I'm surprised they didn't throw you out in your ear.
One kid had a toy M16 as part of his costume. Nobody cared.
I was reading up on the Lone Ranger.
In a liberal area, people don't care.
I was reading up on the Lone Ranger a couple of weeks ago. For some reason, it just popped in my head, and I didn't realize, because I guess it's been so many years since I've actually watched anything with the Lone Ranger. But throughout that whole series, he never actually killed anybody.
Nope.
And I just thought that was so amazing because as a kid, I was thinking people were, or I remember them getting shot.
He shot the disarm and wound.
Yeah. And I was like, that's weird because I remember the show. I remember watching the show, but maybe I've got it confused with other westerns at the time. But because in all the other ones, people were getting shot and killed.
Yeah, Bill Cosby used to have a funny joke about the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger jumps on Silver's back. Hi-oh, Silver, get off my back! Silver goes on a rant about how everybody's shooting at him and they run out of bullets and they throw the guns at him and they hit him. Oh no! Clunk, clunk, right off of old Silver's legs. And then he goes into it about how, Tonto, you go to town. You go to hell. Every time Tonto go to town, Tonto get beat up.
Yeah. They did tend to use Tonto as a bit of a lackey, didn't they?
Yeah.
You remember the show, oh God, the Cisco Kid.
Yeah, that was a thing. Then you had Hopalong Cassidy and a bunch of other ones.
Yeah.
Hopalong Cassidy's on Encore Western's channel every weekend.
I never really got into that one, and never got into Roy Rogers. I don't know why, I just never did.
Me TV, if you got one of those digital antennas or your cable company or whatever carries it, they have a Saturday. It's a block from 8 o'clock until 7 o'clock of just old TV westerns.
Okay, guys, I think we're gonna call it quits. We are eating up on G-Webs here, so I'm gonna try to get in here on time next week and get the show back on some kind of schedule. I'm hoping either next Monday or next Tuesday to have an interview with Ghost Tactical. That's the plans anyway. If our schedules meet up. So it's been about a year since I've had him on. I figured it's time for an update. I'm also going to ask G-Webs if he'd like to come back on for a one-on-one, get an update from him on some of the things he's doing. So I've got some shows coming up I hope y'all be interested in seeing. You guys got anything to plug, Gary?
Well, there's a rumor there's this website called gizzardgary.com, and it's got all kinds of cool links and stuff like that. I don't know. You might want to check it out. But definitely what you want to check out, other than allananchor.com, which is a great place to visit. Also, check out gunchannels.com, because that's where we all call home. And you can join us for free and be part of the fun. Also, check out guntube.org. And as always, Like, share, and subscribe to The Outlaw Hatfield, and thank you for the invite.
Anytime, Gary. You know you're more than welcome. Midnight, what you got for us, buddy?
I don't know who the hell this Alan Anchor fella is, but everybody wants you to go there, so I guess go ahead. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot. Had a pretty rambling, bullshit-filled show last night. If you want to go listen to some nonsense, you can go listen to that. Other than that, not a whole lot. I got a lot going on, so trying to do some stuff when I can.
Videos coming out?
No, I got to do a Patriot video. You know, I'm gonna try and do that tomorrow, I think, if I can. Do one of the blind challenges. You know, break down probably one of my pistols, and then possibly a little collaboration with one of the other Travises, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking? You could do a video series on preparing meats. Remember how you did preparing meats? You know, like you did with the fish here on the last show a couple weeks back.
Well, I actually have 2 or 3 videos that I did that I broke down a tenderloin, I broke down a ribeye, that kind of stuff. I need to find some time to sit and do voiceovers on it, and that's not exactly the quickest thing to do. So I've been kind of dragging my feet on it, you know.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, because it's tough because I really don't like doing voiceover stuff. I've done it a couple times out of necessity, but I mean, there's always so much. Unless I stay super super late, there's always people around. So, you know, making noise and shit. So I don't know. It's tough though. But yeah, I wish I had better. Our internet at work sucks. Our Wi-Fi. There's been a couple of times that I've tried to open like a live stream at work, and I just haven't been able to. It buffers like crazy and acts all shitty. But that was kind of one of the things I was going to do at work. You know, one of these nights was open up a live stream with my camera just down, and you know, do some fabrication of meats and that kind of stuff for the next day for work. But it just hasn't worked for me. So I don't know if anybody has anything.
You fabricate your meat at work?
I fabricate it. Yeah, that's right. It's like a 3D printer.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a good way to make money.
Well, I mean, it's just a small little project. You can bang it out pretty quick. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what he's actually doing? He's trying to make the Star Trek replicators.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
But you know, like always, if anybody if anybody has anything they'd like to see, anybody has any questions, you know, always looking for topics for the live streams too. So you know, it's you never know.
You didn't have any topics when you started yours. I had 2 topics when I started mine, and we didn't get to them until the very end. So big topics.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, if you know, Sunday nights 10:30 Eastern live streams. Check me out on Instagram. I'm you know, throwing some goofy nonsense up there. You know, I've even found myself today with some spare time enough to troll somebody else's Instagram account. I blew up somebody's Instagram post today that was talking about tipping.
And you get trolled by some guy who's out there with a white van. Who knows what he's doing with it?
Yeah, I know, right? No, I stumbled across an Instagram post of somebody that not only didn't tip but took like $5 off the check, and a bunch of people under the comment section thought that was super awesome. So I kind of I took a couple minutes out of my day to let them know I didn't think that was awesome.
Okay, Rich, what about you, buddy? Anything going on?
I just got the show Sunday nights of like we were just talking about. And, you know, this week Unloaded over on the Unloaded Media channel. And Gary, you mentioned out there in the chat, Wild Wild West. I watch that show every Saturday at 6 p.m. on VTV.
I used to love that show.
That's James Bond in the West. I mean, what's not to like?
Heck yeah.
Wild Wild West. It was a great show. I used to love those little cut scenes it did before and after the commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, that's it for tonight, folks. I appreciate everybody for hanging around, sticking with us. We will see you guys next time. Remember, hit up Gun Channels and jump on over there and say hello to G Webbs. He is going live and has been for about 10 minutes now, 15. So we will see you guys there.